Hey, 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 it is Carla Webb, Christian life coach, and it is time for your praise break. I think I've settled on that. I think that's how I'm going to do it. That's my theme song, praise break. You would never know I grew up General Baptist because that's not very General Baptist-y. So anyway, all right, today for our praise break, first of all, I've got all my snugglies on because it's beyond freezing outside. So warm and cozy in here in my office, which I have the lighting situation figured out today. But today I want to talk about with you in our praise break about how even your darkest hour only has 60 minutes. There is a time limit even on your darkest hour. And so I just want to share with you, January is always a time of reflection for most people. But January 2010, so each January I kind of think about how far I've come since January 2010, it was the beginning of the worst year of my life. January 2010, my world absolutely just got turned upside down and was in complete shambles, and looked nothing like I ever dreamed my life would ever look like. So in January 2010 is whenever I finally left my abusive marriage. And up to, people always, this is another episode that we'll talk a different time, but people always say, well, why don't you just leave? If it's so bad, why don't you just leave? There's lots of factors in why you don't just leave. But one of the main reasons was in the back of your mind, typically you're thinking, okay, if this is the way they treat me and they love me, quote unquote, love me, what are they going to do to me when they hate me? Okay, so you're living in this nightmare and it's pretty bad. But then when you think about leaving that situation, what's the retaliation going to be? And statistically speaking, whenever you leave your abuser, that is the most volatile time. That's when murder occurs, when you try to leave. So it's a scary proposition. But in January 2010, I did just that. And whenever I sat there and thought, well, if this is the way he treated me and he loved me, then what's he going to do to me when he hates me? Well, I can, without going into a lot of detail, I can tell you I found out. I found out what he was capable of once he hated me. And it wasn't good. It was really bad, and it was hard, and it was devastating. And I thought I was going to have a nervous breakdown, and I just about did. And when you are in the middle of that, you can't see the future. All you know is what you are experiencing at that time. All you know is that you are in it, and you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you don't know the way out, and you don't know how long it's going to last. You don't know from which angle you're going to get hit next. I mean, it was constant and nonstop, and it was absolutely devastating. And you think, oh my gosh, I know I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't go on. I can't survive. And long story short, look at me 9 years later. 9 years later, my life looks nothing like it did 9 years ago in January of 2010. Now, the thing about it is that even your darkest hour only has 60 minutes if you make the choice that that it has a time limit, okay? So I have made, turn my mess into my message, as they say, in that time period. But to turn the mess into the message and to get that timer to go off on that 60 minutes, like, okay, you're done, over, took a lot of hard work. And there are a lot of people who sit in the mess for the rest of their life. And they let the mess define them for the rest of their life. And they never move on and they never get over it. Now, you can move on and you can get over it and you can heal 100% and have a life that you were meant to live, but it takes work. You can't just sit there and it just happen. Healing does not just happen. You have to take action and you have to be proactive. So what did that look like for me? That looked like getting into counseling immediately going to counseling and start doing the hard work. It meant finding a women's small group at a church to get involved in. So I got involved with a women's small group. It meant getting acupuncture. That may sound weird, but I was on anti-anxiety medicine, anti-depression medicine, and sleeping pills. I was a zombie, and so I couldn't function like that. So I looked for alternatives so I could still live a high-functioning life, and that included acupuncture. That included yoga. So yoga and finding out who my real friends are, and then surrounding myself with just those people. Attending seminars, reading books, listening to webinars, listening to podcasts. And so I didn't just sit there on the couch or lay in the bed with the covers over my head, which some days I did. But eventually you have to get out of the bed and you have to take a shower. You have to, suck it up, sister, and start doing the hard work. It's not just going to happen on its own miraculously. So, it takes hard work, and I challenge you to dig in and do the hard work, and I challenge you to do it from the get-go. Because, this is the way I look at it. Life sucks really bad right now. I hurt really, really bad right now. I am absolutely devastated. So I can either dig in and do the hard work while things already hurt and are bad, or I can bury it for the next 5, 10, 25 years, never deal with it, and then eventually, 25 years from now, sit in a therapist's office having to dig through the muck of 25 years ago. No, I'm already in the muck. I'm already crawling around like a soldier anyway, trying to get through the mud. So dig in and do the hard work while you're already there, and start the healing process so that you don't have to deal with this, 25 years down the road and everything else in between. So get in there, do the hard work, get on your hands and knees, get on your face before God, and do what you need to do to start the healing process. Because then the timer sets, and there is a time limit on that darkest hour. So that's what I encourage you to do today, is to do the hard work, to do the healing so that you can move on and have the life that you were meant to live. And the scripture that really, that everything I do is based upon this scripture, John 4:10. This scripture literally turned a light bulb on and changed my life. And that is whenever Jesus says to the woman at the well, if you only knew who I am and the gift that God has for you, you would ask me for a drink of living water. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I wonder, up to that point, did I ever really know the gift of God? Did I really know who Jesus was and the gift that God had for me? But I can tell you this, as soon as I opened myself up to that and started drinking from the fountain of living water, never the same. Never the same. Start drinking from living water and you will never thirst again. True story. So, you know, 9 years, what a difference that makes. And I can tell you, I'm not special. It didn't just happen for me. It can happen for you too. Dig in, do the hard work, and your darkest hour there will be light that shines on your darkest hour again. All right. If you need help getting through that, if you are having trouble navigating your darkest hour and you don't know how to get to the other side of it, contact me. You can go to carlawebb.org. You can schedule a free consultation with me, and you get a free half hour of my time for us to do some talking and to see if we can come up with a plan to get you through your darkest hour. All right. So know that God loves you. Know that I love you, and you have a fabulous day. Mwah.